They are erasing the true history of the Underground Railroad and erasing references to Harriet Tubman and replacing them with things about how white people helped. For years, the website for the National Park Service introduced the Underground Railroad with a large photograph of her. She's the most famous, quote, conductor. As you know, it's not an actual railroad, but this is now gone. In its place are Postal Service stamps that highlight black and white cooperation in the Underground Railroad. So here is what is all deleted, and here's what they've replaced it with on their website. Truly despicable what's going on here. They've also selectively edited individual sentences to take out references to slavery, to try to hide what happened. They're even deleting stuff about the Niagara movement at Harper's Ferry. And they've taken out the word equality from at least 6 pages where they were talking about opening doors for others.
This is not new. Their tactics are a little bit more bold and open. I mean, when I looked the other day and saw how they're trying to sell off civil rights museums, where our ancestors had the courage to be a part of the Freedom Riders, but yet you want to sell that piece of history? As I look at all of what's taking place to our black veterans there at the cemeteries and how they have erased their names, so now you don't know who was the first black and who made some contribution. Don't you know that our blood built this country? Don't you know that our sacrifice made America what it is? Don't you know that America cannot talk about the land of the free and the home of the brave without adding black people to that story? And that's why it disturbs me for somebody who ain't even from America to try to erase what has been done in America. Take yourself back to South Africa. You don't deserve to be in America.
Flash. More racism. Yeah. Trump is signing, I guess he's trying to sign some bill to do something about this African-American museum, because they're talking about like changing all the Smithsonian back to their normal, I guess, American history that we are used to. So of course they're focusing on the African-American Museum of History. First of all, the African-American Museum is amazing, okay? It really is amazing. I've been there 4 times, went through it 4 times. And the good thing about it is I studied a lot of it, so I knew a lot of it already. It's really beautiful. And if you look at the museum, if you ever go to DC, it's the only brown Smithsonian. It stands out. Most of the buildings in DC are very white, especially that monument that looks like a white dick. Yeah, actually they got that from Egypt, actually. But anyway, but all the other buildings are white. The Capitol, the White House, all of those other buildings are white. But except for this African American Museum, which is kind of shaped differently and it's very brown. So he wants to change whatever's in there. Well, I hope they're in for a big ass fight, because what the fuck are you gonna change? What are you gonna change? Because all of this stuff in there is facts. And by the way, the African American Museum, that is actually lightweight shit. All right, that's actually lightweight to the atrocities that whites have put upon African Americans. And I'm talking about black Americans, I'm talking about foundational black Americans. The atrocities in that museum aren't all that is shown. It's actually lightweight. Historically, whites have done worse to black people. Actually, you're leaving a lot of shit out. I don't give a damn if it's the movies Amistad, fucking Roots, Django, all those slave movies. That shit is the lightweight version. In fact, if they actually showed what really happened to slaves, nobody would be able to watch it. Not even black people. Nobody would be able to watch what the fuck has happened to black Americans. Nobody. And even colonization. Nobody would be able to show what has happened to Africans and colonizations, what Europeans have done to Africans, which is beyond atrocious, which is unfucking fathomable and unforgivable. And the fact that black people around the world have got to be the most forgiving people on the fucking planet. That is a fact. The shit that has happened to black men and black women, physically, mentally, spiritually, I'm surprised we're not going around taking people's heads off, because we don't do shit like that. Because black folks, I'm just keeping it 100, You know, in science, the African is 100% human, and the European is 97% human and 3% Neanderthal. Go look it up. We're the most forgiving race. I'm sorry. Black folks didn't do anything to you. Black people didn't do shit to you. Don't talk about that black on black crime shit because you all commit more crimes than we do. Don't come and deflect me with that bullshit because this is getting ridiculous. So I'm coming with this intense video because it's getting ridiculous. I knew this was gonna happen. See, once they were like, okay, they were like, let's get rid of all the Latinos, dog the women. I knew it. Black people are always on the list as the #1 problem. The people who built the country, and everybody took advantage of black sweat, blood, and tears. Everything was always, we gotta get black people. Everything, every move they made, DEI, everything was, even though white women, and we all know this, white women were the ones that benefited from DEI. DEI was always about these goddamn blacks, you always had a problem with black people all the time, whatever it is. And what's really funny is, how come you're not rolling back the NFL or the NBA? I'm not insulting any of the athletes, but how come you're not rolling back that? Why don't you make that all white? Make NFL and NBA all white, and we'll get our own leagues, and we can always like have an annual competition. You haven't touched sports yet. You want black people to run up and down these fields and courts and sweat their asses off, but you haven't. I'm trying to understand this. Why are you trying to fuck with the African American Museum? What are you doing? You're gonna put back all the monuments, all the racist monuments and the fuck boys and the slave owners and shit? What? So, well, while you put that up, we should put up some new statues of our shit too. This shit is a fucking joke. It's a joke, and you know what's great? Is black people are getting tired of this shit. This ain't the 1920s and 30s and shit. These are different black people now. You have a whole different breed. When we fight back, you can fuck around and find out, all right? You're fucking around and finding out about all kinds of shit with other countries. China's telling you something. Mexico is pissed off. I always knew that it was gonna be about black people. Because black folks, the foundational black Americans, have every right to be here. Every right to be in America. Oh, yes, they do. And the reason why you ain't come after Native Americans is because you got rid of most of them. You see, because Native Americans should be really complaining about this whole shit. They should be in the forefront of all this shit. But you murdered most of them, so they can't really say much. They can't really say much because you put them on reservations. You understand? I don't know how you all feel about this, but I'm just ranting. But this shit's getting out of hand. Now that they've gotten rid of most shit, it's always about black progress. It's like we're the bane of your existence. Black people are the bane of white people's existence, man. There are white people actually fighting against that. All right? There are allies. Of course there are allies. But the whole scheme of things is black people are the problem. The ones that built the buildings in DC. Benjamin Banneker, who designed all of DC. But it's all good because this ain't gonna come without a fight. You can guarantee you that shit. And all you handkerchief head ass Negroes, you Aunt Jemima motherfuckers that are with these people, yeah, you going down too. You going down too, okay? So get your fucking tap shoes, cause yo, this shit is about to get ugly. You let me know. You all let me know. I'm ranting on. I probably said some of the wrong shit. Hey man, but I had to say something because it's getting out of fucking hand. And I hope there's gonna be a fight. You need to leave history alone. Black history basically is how they were treated like shit by white people. That's basically what it is. Black American history is about black people being shit on by white people as they were trying to progress. Yeah, and you don't want to hear it, but we have to because you still behave like that. You haven't changed. Now, I can understand if you've changed your attitude. You don't call us niggas anymore. You actually aren't passive aggressive. You stopped redlining. You stopped gentrifying what doesn't belong to you. You know, you stopped actually defunding black schools, keeping black people in ghettos, mass incarceration. Let's say all of that stopped and there was no more of that. Then I would be like, hey man, we need to stop complaining. We need to start treating them better. But it hasn't changed. Your behavior hasn't changed. is exactly like the early 1800s and 1700s and 1500s. It's the same shit, right? And we have to know where this behavior comes from. It's like medical history. If you have a disease, the doctor's gonna say, well, let's look at your family history on why this is occurring. That is why history is important, so we can know why you keep acting a fucking fool. You know, I believe that this is just a case of racial dyslexia. Yeah, they don't mean DEI, they mean DIE. Die, blacks, die. Please get away. Please go. I don't want any more diversity programs. Please, we know we fucked you up. We know it. We know half the shit that we have has been stolen. We know we fucking decimated the Native Americans. We know, but we just want you to go away. We don't want black history because all of black history is just basically white atrocities and how we treated you. Please, DIE, go away. This white guilt is killing me. It's choking me every day. Why? Why does it have to be about race? I know we made it about race first, but why? I would rather deflect on you and just blame you. Why? I can't wait to hear the comments. Die!
Do you want to hear something crazy about the whole obedience in advance thing? Colonial Williamsburg has removed its website dedicated to an honest history of the American Revolution. And they did that just within the last couple of days. Why do I know that? Because I built that website and I wrote almost all of the content for it about 14 years ago. It was the first thing I did at Colonial Williamsburg. I was the digital historian, and we wanted to provide a reliable resource online to send not just our interpreters, but to send our guests to, so they could get a solid foundation in what the American Revolution was, its context, its causes, its character, and its consequences. It was funded by a major grant for the National Endowment for the Humanities, and it was contributed by many major historians of the American Revolution in a number of different ways, from a number of different perspectives. And it stood the test of time and critique. But in the last week, it has been not just changed, it has been removed. So if you go to ouramericanrevolution.org, you will now just be directed to random links on the Colonial Williamsburg library page, not to the broad website that we created, and that I oversaw and wrote most of the content for, about an honest take on the American Revolution. And it wasn't just me, it was contributions from more than a dozen of the major historians of the American Revolution from a number of different perspectives, from black history and slavery to indigenous Americans to military history to diplomacy, as well as biographies of all of the major figures. And the broader historical background of slavery and its relationship, slavery and indigenous people and indigenous relations and their relationship to the coming of the American Revolution. What's there now? Nothing. We'll talk about obedience in advance, ripping apart a major resource for an honest understanding of the American Revolution. I'd say that counts. Be careful who you trust. But the benefit is, I kept all that stuff. So it's all mine again. So I think that maybe another website's coming out.